on, everybody? I'm your host, Cameron, and today I'm going to be showing all of you guys how to add an INI saving system to your 5 Nights at Freddy's fan game. This is part of my Clickteam tutorial series on how to make a 5 Nights at Freddy's fan game in Clickteam Fusion 2.5. And obviously in today's video we're talking about the INI saving, which basically is your save file to all of your games. Every game has one, you know. You get a new save whenever you go on to the next night, you know. And basically this tutorial is basically just saying, hey, here's where you can continue on, and here's where you can like end the night, stuff like that. It's pretty much just a save file, like or checkpoints or whatever, you know, stuff like that. So obviously if you're just here for the tutorial, I highly suggest you guys just go to the timestamp up above. But I do kind of have some stuff to say about this for those who are wondering why I'm making this tutorial. But for those who are here just for the tutorial, skip to that timestamp up there and just continue on watching the video. Alright, and for those who are wondering why I am remaking this tutorial in the first place, obviously, as you guys know, if you've been on this series for long enough, or you've at least looked at the series, you'll know that I did an INI tutorial. And you might be wondering, why are you doing it again? Why are you making another INI tutorial? Well, that's because the original one was shit and it actually didn't even work. So, the original one actually just didn't work, and I figured out the hard way when I was helping somebody make their fan game. I saw that something was not working right, like during 6 a.m. I made a minor error where I didn't do the INI stuff first and then the counter second. I did the counter first and then the INI second, which was bad because it did the counter code first, which means that it would automatically be set to 0, which, means you can't actually continue on to the next night, which was mighty unfortunate. But in today's video, I'm going to change that. So basically I'm going to remake it, make it better, make it plausible, show you guys just how to do different stuff, and overall just trying to improve a little bit on it, since people were saying that I was messing up in that video a lot too, which is not something that I want under my belt, but you know, it happens sometimes. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The entire purpose of why I'm making this video. It's just a remake of the INI tutorial. I will unlist that other INI tutorial once I get this one up and running. Plus this one's gonna be way better anyway. And yeah, that's about it. So now we can finally begin. So we're gonna go over and we're going to insert two things. We're gonna go right click, insert object, go over to our INI first, and this is our save file throughout the whole game. I cannot drag this up for some reason. I don't know why I can't do that, but this is basically the core of your game. This is the save file that will tell the player what night they're on, what night they're going to be playing, when they can improve, or like when they can progress with the game, stuff like that. But the one thing we need to do is we actually need to name the file of it. And I don't mean just going in here and just going rename it to something else. You don't actually have to rename it at all. But you do need to actually change the save file name of it. So we're going to go down, be sure you have your INI selected, go down to properties, and then go over to settings. And over settings, under INI file for use, this is going to be your save file name. And what I'm just going to call it is, I'm just going to call it 5 Nights at Freddy's. This is my file. Obviously, if you have your own name, you can put your own name in the file. And once you have that done, we're going to insert one more thing, which is going to be a counter. We're going to go insert object, counter. Okay, we're going to put this down, and we're going to rename this to night verification. And this will basically, like it says there, verify what night we're on. And I'm going to actually increase the size of this, and I am going to increase the size of that. And then I'm actually going to edit it so that it is bigger and red. I'm going to paint it red so that it's more visible, I guess. Visible is probably the word. So we're going to do that. Let's paint all these colors red. By the way, I'm also going to show you guys how to release your game too. I don't know if I said that in the beginning, but I will also show you guys how to release your game because this is the final tutorial. So I'll show you guys how to just release and export your game, whatever. But right now we're going to be working on the INI portion of it. So what are these two objects? Like, what do these two objects really mean? Well, the thing about these two objects is these two objects are pretty much the same thing. It's just that they're different. And I can't even drag these down. That's really weird. But these two objects are pretty much intersected with each other. Basically, that's the best way to put it. They're intersected with each other. So basically, the INI and the night verification counter are linked in together. We're gonna link them together. Excuse me, and they're going to be pretty much connected. So pretty much whatever the INI says is pretty much whatever the counter says. Whatever the counter says pretty much is whatever the INI says. And this can also help with like the game files and stuff, and it'll just make the job a lot easier. And we are obviously going to have to connect the file with most of these frames. Like, we're going to have to connect these two in our menu, loading, and all of our nights, including our 6 a.m. Game over, not really, because game over doesn't do too much. But since, like, the menu, the loading, the night ones and stuff are all kind of part of the game that actually kind of means something towards your progression, it's important to have that. Game over, not really, just because game over is just game over. Like, oh, I lost. It's like, you know, who cares? You go back to the night anyway, nothing changes. But anyway, now that we're here, we're also going to do one more thing. So we're going to actually open our game file. Our game file is not currently in use yet, but we will at least open it when it's for use, if that kind of makes sense. So to do this, we're going to go over to down here where it says search, and we're going to type in run. When you see run, just press enter. And you want to type this down here. You want to type the name of a program, folder, document, or internet source. And we want to type in %appdata%. So all lowercase, just type in %appdata%. And when you press enter, it'll open this. And this is your app data for pretty much all of your games, your files, your stuff. Just basically files for everything. Like right here, I have what do I have? I have a Lunar Client. I have Lunar Client for whenever I play Minecraft. So I have Lunar Client out there, but the one thing we want to focus on is MMF applications. MMF applications are multimedia fusion applications, which in short are basically just Clickteam files. That's all it is. So double click into here, and as you can see, you will see all these files for FNaF fan games or any game made in Clickteam Fusion 2.5. So I have a bunch of games on here. Like I have a ton of games on here right now. As you can see right now, I have like all of these, and then I have like, for example, I have Jolly, I have Tycoon Sons, I have 5 Nights at Wario's 4, 5 Nights at Coasters 2, you know, 5 Nights at Candies, Jolly 2, all that, right? And your game will appear up here. So, and also, another thing to note too is, in this, you can also edit your files too. So you can pretty much cheat in here. I actually learned about INI stuff. I don't know if any of you guys did this, but if you ever wanted to make as much money on Pizza Simulator as possible, you would just search up how to make infinite money, and it's really easy to actually make infinite money. For example, like let me just show you real quick. So you go down to where it says FNaF 6, because that's the file name of it. It's made in Clickteam Fusion. You press Notepad, and then as you can see, everything's here. All of your files from Pizza Simulator are right here, right? Well, that's cool. And my money right now is 3,035, but I can change this to like 900. Like I can change that to infinite amount of money. It's broken. So you can change it to as much money as you want, and it's really easy to do. Which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing about Clickteam, but well, what can you do? So as you can see, this is where your file is going to appear, but obviously we have to get the file to work. So why is Matt in here? I don't know how long that was there, but anyway, now we're gonna actually get this to work. So from here, what we want to do is we want to go over to Event Editor. We want to go over to the night verification. Oh, I can't slide it over. Why can I not slide it over? It's actually kind of stupid. Hold on, I gotta reboot that or whatever, but it doesn't matter. So go over to your INI, and what we want to do is we want to set up the file for it. And to do that, what we want to do is we want to go right click, set current group to save file, I'd say. So pretty much, this is just like the main folder name of it, pretty much just save file. Everything up under save file is quite literally your night. That's it. So your save file is gonna be right there, and then that's for your group. But then you want to go right click, set current item to night, and obviously this will show what night you are on under the save file group. And once you have that done, go over to the night verification and go right click, set counter, scroll down to see INI, click onto that, get value of item, and type in night. So pretty much what this is saying is automatically the INI's group is going to be save file, and the game's item, the game's main item is night, which is your main night source, of course, like night 1, night 2, night 3. That's pretty much what it is. And then the code over in the night verification is basically saying set the counter to night, pretty much. So whatever you change in the source file is going to go also over to the night verification. So it's pretty much just connected in a way, like I said before. And obviously, if you load the frame, nothing's gonna happen. The code right now is set to 0, but all the counters are automatically set to 0. And the reason it's set to 0 is because we don't have any code in there. Obviously, we have nothing to say what night we're on, right? But for a little test, we're gonna go over to new condition, new game toggle, and where it says user clicks on new game button, go over to night verification, right click, set counter to 1, and then go over to INI, right click, set value of item, and we're going to type in night, and this is going to be night, and then we type in 1, which means that this is pretty much saying when night is equal to 1. If night is equal to 1, pretty much. And to prove this works, we're going to run the application. We're going to press new game, and it's not really going to do nothing, but if we X out of here and we load the application, it's going to be set to 1 now. And if you go over to your folder, as you can see, now we have a new file at the top, Five Nights at Freddy's. You double click into that and it says night equals 1 under save file. So we have the basics down for the save file, which is really good. That's what we want so far. And now what we're going to do next is we're actually going to move it to the, we're going to move it over to the loading screen now. And we are going to pretty much just manipulate the counter to say if counter equals 2, send me to night 2. If counter equals 5, send me to night 5. Pretty much like that. From here, we want to go back and we want to go to the frame editor. We want to take the night verification counter and the INI. We want to go right click, copy, and go over to the loading screen, and then go right click and paste them in. So just make sure your night verification is visible within the frame. And then what we want to do from here is we want to go over to event editor. We want to go to start a frame, and then we want to go over to the INI, set current group to save file, and then go right click, set current item to night, and then go over to the night verification, set counter, scroll down, INI, get value of item, night. And this is pretty much what we're going to be doing the entire time. We're going to be pretty much doing this across all of our night frames and our 6 a.m. frame as well. So it will get very repetitive very quickly, but this is pretty much the main part of the tutorial, is just getting them together. And so far, we have them working pretty well. So if I actually load the frame, it should automatically set it to 1, because now that these two counters are connected, or these two objects are connected, it should be set to 1 with our save file, and it is, which is great. That means we are on the right track so far. If it's not for you, I would suggest that you do the INI first. Be sure to always do the code for the INI first, and then the counter second, because if you do it the other way around, it may not work. So now that we have that done, now we want to actually go over and do some code. So we want to go over, I don't know why I have this here. That's for later in the tutorial, but we want to go over, and we just want to go over to a new condition right here. And we're going to say, oh, actually, no, we're not going to new condition. But basically, from this point, what we want to do is we want to manipulate this on timer event jump to frame night 1. And we want to manipulate it so that the counter is kind of controlling what night we go to. So, for example, when the counter is set to 1, we go to night 1. If on timer event the counter is equal to 2, we go to 2. Stuff like that. So to do that, I'm going to go over to on timer event, jump to frame, and we're going to go right click, insert, and we're going to go over to night verification, compare the count to value when it is lower or equal than 1. So the reason I say lower or equal than 1 is because the idea of this is that when it is set to 0 or 1, it's going to automatically go over to night 1. Now you might be wondering, why don't we just do like equal to 1? Well, if you do equal to 1, then if you press continue when it's your first time playing, the counter's going to stay 0. So if it's your first time playing and you press new game, the counter's automatically going to be set to 1, right? But if you press continue and it's your first time playing, this counter's just going to be set to 0, and then you're going to have nowhere to go in the loading screen because, you know, when the counter's lower or equal, then if it's just equal to 1, then it's not going to take you nowhere because you don't have no code that says when the counter's equal to 0 or anything like that. So pretty much you can just do that. And of course, we want to do this a couple more times for each of our nights. So what I will actually do is I'm just going to copy this around 4 more times just because I have 5 nights and then, you know, we have all of this. But we want to go over to the second line of code over here where it says on timer event jump to frame when the counter is lower or equal to 1. We want to edit this so that it is equal to 2. So it's equal to 2. So on timer event jump to frame when it is equal to 2, instead of saying jump to frame night 1, I want to go right click, edit, and then go frame for night 2. And now we're going to do this through the rest of the night. So we're going to go over to on timer event jump to frame right under that, and we're going to go double click into it and change it so it is equal to 3, right? And then we're going to go over to storyboard controls or jump to frame. We're going to edit this so that it is jump to frame night 3. And then we're going to go over to the 4th one and double click into it, change the number to 4, and change the comparison method to equal. And then go over to jump to frame night 1. We're going to go right click, edit, and make it night 4 because it is our 4th night. And then it's going to be the same thing for the last one. Just double click into it and make it equal to 5. And then when it is equal to 5, we're going to go jump to frame night 5. And pretty much this is done. We have the whole idea working now. All we have to do is just code it into our nights and get the progression moving in order for it to work. So let's get to it. So from here, if we actually go into it and we go run application, it's set to 1 right now. And if we go continue, the counter is set to 1. Now obviously if it is lower or equal than 1, it is going to take us to our night 1. However, since all of my nights are pretty much identical, we don't really know if that worked, but I know for sure that it did work. So we have the idea down so far. All we have to do now is code it into our nights. So that is the next step we are going to do. But additionally, you also go down to search, and then you type in run, and then you type in your %app data, and then you go to your MMF applications down here, and then you go over to your Five Nights at Freddy's, double click into that. As you can see, it now says save file night equals 1. So just to show that it also works as well, it's now set to 1. And if I actually type in 0 and then save it, and then I actually load back into my my game and I run application, it is set to 0, which I think is pretty cool. And if I press new game, it's now going to be set to 1. So it is working so far. So now we're going to move on to the night. So what we want to do is we want to go over and we want to copy the night verification counter and the INI. Copy this, go over to your night 1, and then I'm just going to go up to frame 5, and I'm going to go paste right there. And from here, what you want to do is you want to go up to your event editor and do pretty much the same thing we did for the menu, where all you got to do is just go over to start a frame, INI, set current group, to, what is it? We're gonna set current group to save file. And then we are going to set the current item to night, right? And then we're gonna go over to the night verification counter, right click, set counter, scroll down so you see INI, get value of item, and type in night. But what we want to do from here is, oh, is that not how you, oh, wrong quotation. So what you want to do from here then is you want to go over to your night verification counter and go right click, set counter to 1 because you are now on night 1. Additionally, you also want to go over to your INI and go right click, set value of item, night 2, 1. So this means that you are on night 1, and if you run the frame, yeah, it's gonna say 1. That means you are on night 1, which pretty much it's gonna do that automatically. But that's because, you know, night 1, it's supposed to tell the game that you are on night 1, so it's doing its job. So once you have that, now we're just gonna go to night 2. It's as easy as that. All we're gonna do is we're gonna copy these, copy, night 2, paste, and now we're gonna go back up to frame editor, and we're gonna go over to start a frame, INI, set current group to save file. Oh, there we go, save file. Like I said before, I mean, this is gonna be, it's gonna be the same thing every time. Just very repetitive stuff. Set current item to night, and then go over to your counter, set counter, scroll down to see INI, get value of item, night, and then just go over to your counter, and this time go set counter to 2 because we're on night 2 now, and then go over to the INI, right click, set value of item, night to 2. So like I said before, very straightforward. I mean, this is the most straightforward shit you're ever gonna see. It can get a little confusing. All you gotta know is just do the INI stuff first and then the counter second, or else it's not gonna work. But obviously if you're following along with me and you're doing exactly what I'm doing, it should work so far. And to prove this, if we go run frame, as you can see, the counter is equal to 2 now. And if I run the application, boom, this counter is gonna be set to 2, and then I press continue, this counter is gonna be set to 2, and then if I let it load, it should take me to night 2, which has a 2 on it. Yep. Additionally, if you also go to your MMF applications, and you go into your game file, night equals 2. So we are doing everything correctly so far, which is great. So that means all we gotta do is just do the same thing for night 3, night 4, night 5, and then we're gonna do some different stuff for night 6. So from here, just copy down those INIs and those night verification counters, go to night 3, paste it. There we go, paste it right there. Event editor, go over to start a frame, go to the INI, right click, set current group to save file. Alright, then go right click, set current item to night, and then go over to your counter, right click, set counter, scroll down, INI, get value of item, night. Oh, I typed in the wrong thing. Night. Cool. Then go over to your counter, right click, set counter to 3 this time because we're on night 3. Then go over to your INI, right click, set value of item, night 2, 3. Alright, and you're pretty much going to do the same thing for night 4 and night 5 as well. But of course, you know, just to prove that this works, you know, oh, night 3 right there, cool. And then I run the frame, or run the application, boom, night 3. I press continue, boom, 3. Pretty much. And then you let it load, boom, 3. And then you go to your save file, double click into it, boom, 3. So it's all working so far. There's really no need for me to show you the whole like process working if all we're really doing is doing the exact same thing but just changing the values of the counters and the INI to like 4 and 5. But I will obviously go through the process, so I'll just go to night 4 now and paste it right here. Same thing, INI and night verification counter. Then go up and go to start frame, INI, set current group, save file. Then go right click, set current item, night. Then go over to your counter, right click, set counter, scroll down, I, get value of item, type in night, boom. Then you're gonna set the counter to 4 this time. And then you're gonna go over to your I, right click, set value of item, night, 2, 4. And now that's gonna work as well. I'm not gonna test it out because I'm just so good. I already know it's gonna work. Then we're gonna go over to our night 5, do the exact same thing but change the number to 5. So go paste, right? You guys get the idea. You guys get the idea of how this works. Gonna go up, start frame, set current group, save file, set current item. Wait, what was it called? Oh yeah, night. Then go over to your night verification, set counter, scroll down, I, give value of item, night. Gotta connect those, and then go right click, set counter to 5 this time. Then go over to your I, right click, set value of item, night to 5. And now the main nights work. So if I just load up into my night 5, just chilling out. Night 5 is really hard. Really, really difficult night 5. And then I play it a little bit. Then I X out of it. I'm like, oh my god, I died. I go back. I run the application. Boom. We're gonna be left on night 5. Press continue. We're gonna be on night 5, and then we're gonna be taken to night 5, and then the save file is gonna say night 5. All of that. That works. We have the I working. Now, we need to kind of find a way to progress the INIs up. We need to make sure that we can keep going in our game. And to do this, be sure you have your INI and your night verification counter copied. And then we're going to go down to 6 a.m. And then you're going to go right click, paste, right there. And then we're going to go up to event editor. And we're going to go over to start a frame, INI, set current group, to save file, and then go right click, set current item to night, then go over to the night verification, set counter, give value of item to night, and this time we don't have to set it to a specific number. All we gotta do is just connect these two. But what we want to do is we want to actually go over to start a frame, and at the counter we want to go right click, add to counter 1. Additionally, we will also want to go over to the INI. We want to go over to the I, right click, set value of item, type in night, and then press enter. I have 1 quotation in there, not 2. And then from enter value, you want to scroll down to see INI. Click INI, get value of item, and then type in night. And then at the end of it, press space +1. So pretty much this is telling it that, hey, you reached 6 a.m. Now your counter's going to be adding up to 1, or adding 1 up, and then the same thing's going to happen to your INI as well. So to prove this works, we're going to go over to our save file real quick and see what number we're on, okay? We are currently on night 5. So if I load up the 6 a.m. frame, we should automatically be taken over to, we should already be taken over to 6. To prove this, yep, there's a 6 up there. And if we go over to our notepad, this one, not this one, we're gonna go over to our notepad, and boom, night 6. So we had the progression working out, which is awesome. So we have the INI working now, and if you are completely happy with this, I might have another timestamp up above for if you want to actually export your game, but we're gonna do some extra stuff to make the game look a lot better. I would say before you go over to the exporting section, just remove all of your counters within these frames, and then the night verification counter within these frames, and you're completely good. You can just go to the export if you want to. But for those who are actually watching a little longer to see what I'm going to improve, basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over to my menu and make it so that you have to hover over the continue in order to see what night you're on, and then in the loading screen, which you guys might have already done this. Instead of having a counter up there that says like 1, 2, 3, we're gonna move that out of the way and have a string that says night 1, night 2, night 3, and that'll show you what night you're going on to. And then in night 1 and all of these nights, we're gonna put a night 1 in our night 1 frame, a night 2 in our night 2 frame. You guys might have already done that, which if you did, you're already 7 steps ahead, which is great. But it just makes the game look a lot better, in my opinion. And yeah, we might as well just get right to it. So we're gonna go over to our 6 a.m. real quick and just not get rid of, but just move the the night verification counter out of the way now, because we know it works now, so we don't gotta worry too much about it. Then we're gonna go over to our night 5. Actually, no, we're not. We're actually, I think that's the only thing we needed to move. So from the menu, what we want to do is we want to make it so that whenever you hover over the continue, you are able to see what night you're going to be on. It's not always going to be there. So to do that, I'm actually going to move this down behind my static. There we go. So to do this, we're going to go up to the event editor, and over in the continue toggle, we're going to go over to new condition, continue toggle, which I don't know if I actually added one in. If I didn't add one in where I added like an event where it says continue toggle, user clicks on continue toggle and it jumps them to loading, you just add that in real quick. But if you have that, go over to new condition, the mouse pointer and keyboard, the mouse, check for mouse pointer over an object, the continue toggle, and when it is over, the mouse pointer is over the continue toggle, go over to the night verification, right click, visibility appear, which is great. But the issue is, if I hover over this, yeah, it appears, but it doesn't disappear. We want it to disappear when I'm not hovering over it. And to fix this, what we want to do is we want to copy this, paste it, and then negate the other one, which means that when your mouse pointer is not over the continue toggle, then instead of it reappearing, we're going to get rid of that and go right click, visibility, make object invisible. So now it should work, right? And it does. So now I can see what night I'm on when I hover over it, and then when I'm not, it goes away. Great. So we have that out of the way now. And what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to go over to the loading screen, and now we're going to add in an interesting like night buffer instead of the counter up there, because in my eyes, I just see the counter as like as pretty sloppy, when you could theoretically have like loading night 1 instead of just loading screen, and then there's just a counter up there that just says what night you're going on to. I don't really like that. So I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go right click, insert object, the string. Okay, gonna rename this to what? No, god damn it. Okay, let me insert my no wrong buttons. Alright, get my string. Okay. Go here, right? Rename it to night confirmed, I guess. Because it's just confirming what night you're going on to. And then I'm just gonna increase the size of this. And I'm going to center the alignment. You don't have to, but I will. And I'm just gonna change the text of it real quick. Change it to white. Change it to my terminal font. Terminal font. What the? Terminal font. Thank you. And I'm going to change the size of it to 15. And then I'm going to type in night 1 for right now. Right? But, of course, it can't only be night 1, you know what I mean? We need to have all of our nights in there. So, to do this, what we want to do is we want to go over and actually... Put that right down there. Okay, cool. What we want to do is we want to go over to the night confirmed and then go over to properties. In properties, we want to go to settings, and a bunch of paragraphs are going to be here. And as you can see, it says paragraph 1, night 1. But we want to have each paragraph correlate with each night. So paragraph 1, it's night 1. If I press new, it'll be paragraph 2. And in paragraph 2, I'm going to type in night 2. You can already see where this is going. I'm going to type in night 2. Night 2, and then I'm going to go new, and in paragraph 3 I'm going to type in night 3. In paragraph 4 I'm going to type in night 4. Oh no, not the sloppy night 4, the cool night 4. Paragraph 5, night 5. So we have that done now. It's just pretty much for every paragraph, we're loading up into a new night. And once you have this, you want to go up to the event editor. We're going to go over to new condition, go over to night verification, compare the count to value. When it is lower or equal than 1, then we want to go over to our night confirmed and go right click, set paragraph to night 1, because it is for any number below 1 and including 1, it'll be just night 1. And then if I go new condition, night verification, compare the count to value, when it is equal to 2, and then I want to go over to my night confirmed, right click, set paragraph to night 2. Then we want to go over to new condition, night verification, compare the count to value, when it is equal to 3, and then go over to the night confirmed, right click, set paragraph to night 3, and then just do the same thing for night 4 and night 5, which is pretty easy. Just type in 4, then go over string, set paragraph to paragraph 4, and then the same thing for the 5th one. And this isn't like big code or anything, so it's pretty easy in my opinion. And then go night 5, and as you can see, this is now going to work, except it actually won't, because I don't have a night 6, and as you guys can see, it is on night 6 for me. And I will actually show you guys how to add like stars and stuff later in the tutorial as well, but for right now it is set to 5. But to prove that this works, I'm just going to set to 4 right now. I'm going to save it, and then if I actually run the application, as you can see, it's my night. I'm loading into night 4. As you can see, it says loading night 4 right there, and then it's gonna put me into night 4 right there. And for this specifically, I'm actually gonna put a night 4 string right under the 12 a.m. So this counter just won't be here. Which if you guys may have already did that if you did the time tutorial, like I said before, and that's completely fine. Actually, that cuts off some of the work for you guys. But I'm gonna add it in just because it looks a lot better. So we're gonna do that right now. So we have the loading screen done. So now we're gonna go over to night 1, and I'm gonna move this out of the way. And this is really easy. All we gotta do is just insert a string, and that's it. So we're gonna go insert object, string, okay. We're gonna rename this to current night, and then we're going to increase the size of this. And then I'm gonna go just change the text options to whatever you like. 15 terminal. All right, cool. All right, and then I'm just gonna change the color to white. And then I'm going to just type in here, double clicking into it, just change it to night 1, right? And then I'm just gonna put it right down there, looking pretty good. And what I'm actually gonna do is I'm actually just gonna copy this, and then I'm gonna go down to night 2, gonna move this counter out of the way, and then just go right click, paste right there. And then instead of it saying night 1 though, I'm just gonna go back and just change it to night 2. And then as soon as I have that, I'm gonna copy this, then go over to night 3, move this counter out of the way, right click, paste, and then just go night 3. Awesome. And then I'm just gonna copy this, go to my night 4, paste, change it to 4, and then I'm going to move this kind of out of the way, and then we're just gonna do the exact same thing for night 5. There we go, right there. Oh, what are you doing? And then night 5. What did I just do? What? Okay, night 5. So now this works. This is a lot better, and I think it looks a lot better. And now we're gonna see if this really looks good and everything just works. So as you can see, we're currently on night 4. I'm gonna press continue. We're gonna load into night 4. Forgot to remove that counter, but we'll do that. And now we're on night 4, which looks really, really sleek in my opinion. I should have really added that in when I was doing multiple nights, but hey, what can you do? You're watching my channel. And obviously that works. And obviously if you go over to the 6 a.m. and you just run the frame, it's gonna add 1. You can't see it here obviously, but obviously if you just go back and then run the application, it's gonna say 5 there. Yup. and it's gonna say loading night 5. Yup, and then it's just gonna take you to night 5. Correct? Yes. So it's gonna take you to night 5, which is awesome. So now it completely works. So yeah, we have it done. Night 5, we have all the I stuff done. But if you're wondering how to do stars in your game, or in your game, you want to learn how to do stars in your game. So basically, like, if you beat night 5, you get like a filled star, but if you don't, you get like an empty star, stuff like that. Go over to your menu. I do not know if I have a star PNG, but I'll go find one really fast. I'm just gonna rename this to Night 5 Completed Star. Which is a really sloppy name, but you know. I'm just gonna go find a star real quick and I'll be right back with you guys. I would like to tell you guys that finding a star PNG would have taken me, would have not taken me so long, but I will lie and say that it did. But obviously, if you have a star PNG, just make sure you have the hotspot in the middle. And as you can see, I have a star right here. I'm just gonna drag this down, and this will just signify if I completed night 5. And this is really easy to do. This is super easy to do. All right. So just go over to event editor, right? And just go over to 23, insert a group of events, and we're gonna call it stars. So we'll just call it stars, really, right? Or night 5 completed star, which is once again just one of the best names. So new condition, we're gonna go over to night verification, convert the count to value. When it is lower than, I would say 5, no, if it's lower than 6, go over to the star, right click, animation, change, animation frame to 0. But you go over to new condition, you go over to the night 5 completed star, you go over to the night verification, convert the count to value. When it is equal to 6, then it'll show you that you completed your star. Just go animation, change, animation frame to 1. So obviously, I gotta see what night I'm on. But as you can see, I'm on. Ooh, I don't think I did that correctly. Wait, hold on. Right? Yeah, unless it's backwards or something. Maybe it's just a glitch. Hold on. Yeah, it's okay. It was glitched. It works. Okay. So, as you can see, it's night 5, right? And I didn't complete night 5, even though it says night 5. I didn't complete night 5, right? And the animation's set to 0. But let's say, actually, I'm gonna change this from, instead of it being equal to 6, say it's greater or equal to 6. Because if it's equal to 6, and you have like a custom night that's equal to 7, it's gonna mess up the code, and you don't trust me, you don't want that. So obviously, I'm gonna go over to MMF applications, Five Nights at Freddy's, and I'm just gonna change the night to night 7. Fine, I just changed to night 7. Gonna save it, and then I'm going to go back, and I'm going to run application, and boom, the star is filled in because I completed night 5, and I'm kind of further on. So that is pretty much it for the I. Now I'm gonna show you how to actually, oh my god, I'm gonna show you guys how to actually export your game, and not release it, but just export your game so that you guys can just release it on your own. And to do that, all you gotta do is, and let me just make sure I got rid of that. Nope. All you gotta do is go over to File, Build, Application, go over and just name your file whatever you want, and just save it wherever you want. But before you save it, I would suggest at least changing the icon of your application, because if you keep it like this up here, as you can see, there's a little lightning bolt up here. That's actually what your application icon is going to look like. And I guess if you're happy with how it looks, then you can just keep it like that. But if you want to change it to be your own thing, like for example, if I go over to downloads, Five Nights at Wario's has its own thing right here. It's a black and white Wario. If you want it to be something like that, just go over to the application and then go to the about, right down in properties, and go to icon and then edit it. Now the thing is, you can import your own digital drawings or anything of your your icon for your game. But the thing is, you have to keep it in the perimeters of these numbers down here. These numbers tell you how kind of big your application needs to be, how big your picture needs to be for these frames. So for example, you need a frame that's within the size of 256 by 256, which I'll show you guys right now. I actually have a file that is that size right now, right here, and then I press enter, and as you can see, boom, right here, I have my own file right here, and it's in the 256 by 256 resolution, and you have to do the same thing with 128, 48, 32, and 16. I would really only do these five for your custom, because really these other ones don't matter. I'm not gonna lie. Don't worry about these ones. It's only these five that you have to worry about a custom logo. But if you're like, I'm not really worried about a custom logo, I don't really need one, which is kind of weird if you ask me, totally cool. Just exit out of it, and then go over to File, Build, Application, and then save it anywhere. I'm just gonna save it in my downloads. And now we play the waiting game. That message won't appear. That's just for one of my other tutorials. Something about being goofy or whatever. So I'm just gonna wait. Now I gotta wait because it's gonna take a bit to actually work it. So how'd you guys say? Is it good? Hope you guys have enjoyed the series so far, by the way. I have a bunch more coming for the side tutorial series, by the way. Okay, but I'll talk about that more at the end of the video. But we have it done. Now it's gonna be at the top, and as you can see, my application is right here. But there is one thing you guys need to learn about with Clickteam files. So if you've been around GameJolt for a long time, you'll know that Windows doesn't like Clickteam for some reason, and any game that is made in Clickteam, 90% of the time it will say it's a virus. Now, it's never a virus in most cases. Most cases it's not a virus, but in some cases it'll be like, hey, we think this is a virus because it's coming from a source we don't know. And it's not coming from a trusted source, so we're just gonna check it out a bit. So I'm gonna just show you that right now. Double click into it. My antivirus is gonna, yep, suspicious file detected. Oh no, what? No, not my suspicious file. I'm not hiding porn on here. It always thinks that though, and it's not an actual virus. If you guys don't know, it's not an actual virus. You're not letting in Trojans or some shit, so you're completely fine. Eventually, it'll say it's safe. You know, when it does. Yep, see, good news, this file looks safe. And of course, when you're past all that, you have a completed game. You have a completed game. And all you gotta do now is just release it on GameJolt for the public to play. So, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been me, this has been Cameron, and this is my tutorial series on how to create a 5 Minutes of Freddy's fan game in Clickteam Fusion 2.5. Obviously, if you are like, no, we're done with these tutorials, no, I'm not, okay? I'm not done with these tutorials, but I am done with these main tutorials. And what do I mean by main tutorials, Cam? What are you talking about? Well, right now, I am making a side tutorial series on how to make a FNaF fan game in Clickteam Fusion 2.5. It's not like another complete thing, but it is optional tutorials which you guys can follow to make your game a lot better. So for example, my most recent one before uploading this video was a usage bar tutorial. So you know how to make a usage bar. Another one is a Foxy AI mechanic. Another one's a Puppet AI mechanic. Another one is a Freddy twitching AI mechanic, which you guys can actually get a little preview because I disabled it for this video. But if I go right click and I activate this real quick, your Freddy can do this. It's actually the second episode in my side series, which I highly suggest you guys go check out because it makes your games so much better. So I hope you guys stick around. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed the series. I hope you guys have successful fan games in the future. I really hope you guys do really, really well. You don't have to credit me for anything. This is all completely free of use. I hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video. See you guys.